Good morning. It is Tuesday, day 5, uh, and I am up and feeling uh, better. Uh, I feel clear eyed like yesterday, actually, a little better. I'm not as sleepy as I was yesterday, so I think I got a better night's sleep. Um, Drinking the Pellegrino all day yesterday actually felt like a treat. Uh, but it didn't have any bearing on my being able to go to sleep earlier. Um, I was still kind of up late, but uh, it's not like I couldn't fall asleep. It was more like uh, I found my focus was so kind of strong on whatever it was that I was doing that I would kind of forget to say, okay, you need to go to sleep. Because once I would lay down to go to sleep, I fell right asleep. But what I noticed yesterday was that um, I would get lost in whatever I was focused on. So uh, obviously, you could tell if you saw yesterday's video when I got home after running my errands and was kind of giving my brief report. It turned out to be the longest uh, report because I kind of got lost in talking about something that bothered me and I just went for it. And it was almost hard to stop myself from expressing what I was holding in. So that pattern kind of continued after I was finished taping, where uh, the video was so long it was challenge. I had to split the video in order to upload it from my phone, so things took a little bit longer to post it. So I sat in front of my computer, and literally it was like time flipped on by because I was just determined to get this video up, and I ended up getting it up at midnight because it takes a while to upload stuff and everything. But I just was focused on getting it done, and it was kind of it kept surprising me. Like, oh, I had to stop myself to say, oh, I gotta go take Rusty for a walk. So we went for our walk, came back. I had to remember, oh, I was supposed to do this, and kind of while all the while I'm working on uploading the video, I had to catch myself to remember, to stop my focus on this and go on that. So that was an interesting thing because normally that's not how my day goes. I can get wrapped up in what I'm doing, especially when I'm doing this content creation stuff. But it was just noticeably different. I don't know how to describe it other than I was so laser focused that I just truly forgot about things until it popped into my head. I'm like, oh, okay. Where normally I know in the back of my head, I've got, if I have a million things to do, I'll remember, okay, let me do this part and then I'll go do this. I was just literally zoned in. So that's why it was kind of like uh, harder. It's like harder to remember to go to sleep because I was doing something and just got wrapped up in it. Um, so that was interesting to note. And it's again, it felt like I was like when I was talking in the video yesterday. Uh, it was hard to literally to stop. I guess because it was something kind of emotional for me, uh, that I didn't realize I had not let go of. So I'm really going to make an effort to, you know, to release, anger, that I may hold on to, because I don't want to hold on to anger in my life. So that was kind of a nice, if anything, I got from yesterday's rant was to be more aware of how I'm feeling about things and not suppress it. And I think that's been one thing that I have been learning from this fast is that I do use food to kind of sublimate my emotions or suppress it, I guess. Uh, yeah, I've noticed that because I found myself, and this was the odd thing, when I was getting kind of heated and angry about the issue I was talking about, when I was done with the tape, I kept wanting to eat something. And I was aware that it was like wanting to eat it to like stuff back down the anger. I don't know if that makes sense, but I was aware of it was, I don't know if I want to say it was a memory, but it was more like a knowingness that in my brain, if I ate something, that would be like something that would calm me down, because I was like, I was getting hot. I don't know if you can notice from the video. I was getting hot. And all these emotions coming up of kind of like being upset with myself for allowing a situation that I didn't feel was healthy to continue, because I wasn't sure how to handle it until I decided to, remove myself from that situation. So I was aware after making the tape of, I don't want to say it was a subconscious, but this kind of underlying feeling of I needed to eat something in order to calm myself down. And then I realized, no, I'm not going to break my fast because of this. So I calmed myself down in another way, probably because I was hot and didn't want expressing these feelings on this subject to be the reason I broke my fast. So it was very interesting. Like I said before. Oh, and I do want to clear up. In yesterday's video, towards the end, uh, I was thinking I was on day 5, and it was actually day 4. Today is day 5. So that I just wanted to clear it up. Yesterday's video, towards the end, I was saying day 5, but I was in the heat of a lot of emotions, so my brain, was not totally on track. I was thinking it was day 5. It was day 4. Today is day 5. So yeah, it's it's really weird how uh, this whole fasting thing is literally less physical and more mental. In that physically, I feel fine. Again, I think it's a low energy kind of feeling, but I do feel clearer headed. But I also do feel like I have to be focused that I don't start rambling again, because I start feeling like I was going in there a few minutes ago. That this is the biggest part of this fast is the mental aspect. So it's going to be really important for me just to remind myself to keep going and to follow through with going for as long as feels, healthy, because I do want to reverse the type 2 diabetes. And I was watching a YouTube clip about this doctor who was literally talking about this metabolic therapy that was, some aspect of ketogenic therapy, and how it helped with diseases and he was talking about the importance of lowering blood sugar levels and uh, having a low carb diet that still had, it could still have some vegetables and fruit, but really being conscious of what those, how much carbohydrates were in those foods and its effect on your body, and keeping your carbohydrates low. But I also saw a woman who was talking about sticking with uh, carbohydrates that were kind of natural, had naturally had fiber in it. So I'm still gathering information on how I want to approach uh, eating when I come off of this fast, but I do want to make a more dramatic change in terms of uh, choosing, not just because I feel like I've been choosing healthy foods, but I think I want to try to limit my carb intake uh, more specifically. Like, I don't know how many carbs I'm eating. I want to kind of maybe track that a little better and see if I can keep it low without giving up, you know, greens and vegetables and fruit, uh, but focus on ketosis. So one thing I did do last night was I ordered a Keto Mojo off of Amazon, which will allow me to track my blood glucose since I can't find where the hell my monitor is. Uh, I got that it tracks your blood glucose and your blood ketones. So I got that and some, a set of ketone strips so that I can be more on top of that, especially checking how many ketones I have. I do have, I found last night, some urine strips from the last time I was doing a fast uh, that allows you to kind of check when you go into ketosis. And I checked it last night before I went to sleep, and I was just starting to show signs of going into ketosis. So uh, I'm in ketosis, but I'm at the beginning stages of it because it was very light indication. So hopefully, as I progress through today, I will go deeper into ketosis and start creating ketones and feeling a little more energized. But so far, so good. Things are feeling good. And I think I've already failed with the rambling part of this fast because I'm looking at the timer and uh, I've covered 13 minutes already. So I'm going to stop here and say that day 5 is looking good because I'm feeling, rested. Felt like I had a good night's sleep. My eyes are still feeling better, so whatever irritation was going on, I think it's still there, but it's getting progressively better as the days go by. So I'm going to keep going with this because I've been getting evidence last night that the fasting is really good for helping your body heal itself, help with the reversing type 2 diabetes and lowering my insulin levels. So I'm going to keep up with this as long as things are feeling good and healthy, and see how far I can take it. I haven't, like I said, I'm not counting the 10.5 pounds I've lost so far. I'm going to start from today, move forward. I'm not going to check my weight every day, but I'm going to consider anything that I start losing. I'm hoping at this point it is, well, since I'm seeing that ketones are starting to be created, I think I am switching over into the fat adaptation. And if it gets stronger, that's more of a sign that I'm in a fat adapted state. So hopefully I'll be burning fat instead of sugar, because I'm not seeing any visible physical signs of weight loss. So that's why I'm feeling it's mostly water weight and, the excess waste being removed. So anything that I'm burning now, hopefully, will be actually fat. So I will check in with you guys later. Today will be a mellow day. I don't have any errands to run that I can think of. So I'm going to take it easy. And I'll get some work done in the house, but I'm going to take it easy today. Okay, I will check in with you later. Bye. Hey, I'm back. So I am going out after all. I decided to go pick up a case of regular water and some trash bags because I'm making today a cleaning day. And also, I got a text from my lovely sister in Philly who reminded me to make sure I stay hydrated. So shout out to my sister for the advice. Thank you for looking out. I am going to go to Smart and Final and pick up a case of water just so I make sure that I'm drinking enough fluid during this fast. I just want to have it available that I don't even have to think about it, like filtering or anything like that. So I'm going to go pick up a case of water, pick up some trash bags, and continue with my cleaning of my apartment and just get myself out into the sun for this quick trip. All right, talk to you later. Hello, my friends. I am back after I said I wasn't going to run any errands, but I ended up doing that. But I'm so glad. I bought 2 cases of Crystal Geyser, and I am so glad my sister reminded me to hydrate because I really wasn't thinking this through, and I wanted to have enough water that I could just grab it and not worry about filtering water and getting it cold. So I bought 2 cases so I can just grab and go and not stress about it. So I got this, I got the case of Pellegrino, so I am set. I have been drinking as much fluid as I can tolerate just to make sure I'm flushing my system and staying hydrated. So uh, today has been, you know, I am more into ketosis. I just did a ketone test with the urine strip that I have, and I'm in the moderate stage. There's like a trace level, moderate stage, then like 2 other stages after that. So I'm in that moderate stage of ketosis. So that means so things are, are are burning and working, and this is the part of the fast where I feel like I'm making productive change in my body, healing. So I just want to be smart and not overdo things. But I will say today, what feels interesting is that I feel like I'm moving very slowly, but time is just speeding on by. Like after I made The first clip this morning, while I was in bed, I stayed in bed for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it was like 3 hours were gone, and I didn't realize I wasn't sleeping the entire time. Some of it was sleeping, but then I woke up and I decided to start thinking. I was thinking about my whole going to Paris for my 60th birthday, and I thought, you know what, I should start thinking about uh, like where I'm going to stay, the cost of travel and all that other stuff. So I went to Expedia and start looking at travel packages to Paris, and I'm glad I did because it started getting me seeing different hotels and like apartment hotels where you can have a kitchen and be able to cook and all that. And I think that's the direction I want to go, where not like an Airbnb thing, because I'd rather stay in kind of like something that feels like a hotel where there's somebody I can kind of communicate with, but have the kitchen amenities to be able to go and shop and not eat every meal out, but be able to go to a Parisian market or go to one of those outdoor markets and pick up food and try and make something while I'm there. I think that'll be, because I like to cook anyway, so I think that'll be a fun part of the experience. So I know I'm very early, like a year and a half, and like Expedia doesn't book packages that far in advance to May of 2026, but it's helping me find like different locations. So I'm doing all the like groundwork now. Like what I started this morning was doing the groundwork of looking at different hotels, apartment hotels, and whatnot, the cost of it, and figuring out the amenities and the extra, because apparently there are extra taxes that you pay when you're there per night for staying, which is separate from the package. So I recognized, and I'm glad I did this today, that there's a lot of things involved with traveling to another country that I have no clue about. So I'm glad I just had the spontaneous idea while I was in bed to start thinking about that so that I can start planning and also know like uh, where the hotel is in relation to other things in Paris. Because like one place that I found that I liked was I think in the 18th arrondissement or district, whatever it's called. I have to get that down. I think it's arrondissement, but it's the 18th, and the Marais uh, district I think is the fourth arrondissement. So I don't know how close they are because the Marais district is kind of like the gay center of things where there are a lot of clubs and whatnot. And I saw a apartment like hotel that was there, but it looked more like it looked kind of cramped, and some of the reviews were a little. So I want to investigate more, and it might be smart to have a place that I'm staying that's not in the Marais uh, district, and so I'm seeing a different part of Paris, and just travel to that district when I want to go to a club or just kind of check out uh, the bookstores and other stores they have there. Because I did find that there is a bookstore, uh, a famous LGBT bookstore in the Marais district that I do want to check out because I love bookstores. So I'm already excited about traveling to Paris. I've been working on my French just about every day. Uh, well, I have been every day because I've been doing the Duolingo um, every day. So, yeah, I've been kind of just learning different things about Paris just from going on Expedia and checking out their different hotels and packages that they have was already giving me kind of an idea of what to expect. Uh, so I'm gonna make this a whole fun adventure from now until I go there, of really learning about Paris, learning about France and the French culture, and making the most of it. Why not? I'm going to be doing it anyway. Why make it into something that's a drudgery? I want to have as much fun doing it as possible and see how much I can, you know, you know, get out of the experience in terms of helping me feel comfortable and feeling safe traveling, since I'll be traveling most likely by myself. So that was a fun part of today. Um, the other thing, it was interesting doing my morning chanting. I was very focused. I think because my energy level is, at a certain place, and I'm on day 5 of my fast. I really felt really focused when I was chanting, and making sure that I was chanting uh, for my happiness and for the happiness of other people, uh, and chanting for the different goals and challenges that I've set to achieve them. And it just felt really kind of, for the first time, my chanting felt very focused and driven. Like, I've been trying to really look at my chanting not as asking the universe to save me, but chanting more like with a determination that all the things that I want to achieve in my life, I'm going to achieve. And today, I think this probably is coming out of my rant from yesterday, but yesterday's rant kind of really put me into a state of mind of taking my spiritual practice very seriously in terms of wanting to achieve the things I want to achieve for this channel and for my life. So I just really noticed this morning when I was chanting, I just felt really determined that I'm going to achieve all these things. So it felt really good. I don't know how much of that was my rant from yesterday mixed with just my state of mind of being in ketosis and fasting and not eating. That, I did say this whole experience is like a mental test. So I guess it makes sense that my chanting, would be kind of, feeling a little different, as well as everything else is feeling different. But that was kind of cool, that I really felt like I was getting deeper in touch with my Buddhist practice through all this. After that, I tried to do some cleaning, but it's really strange. I just, like taking some garbage out to the trash can outside, partially because of the heat. That knocked me out just one trip. And then I did some more cleaning, but I felt like I had to move very slowly because I haven't kind of like adjusted to this stage yet. So I'm still, pretty tired. And I think hopefully, as a ketosis, they said the more you're into ketosis, you kind of get a burst of energy. I haven't quite gotten that burst of energy yet, but I am feeling good. I'm feeling really good. And I think also because I took my sister's advice and start drinking more water, I do feel like I probably was more dehydrated over these last 4 days than I realized, because I wasn't drinking as much water. I was drinking a lot of green tea, but I wasn't drinking enough, I think, water to balance things out. And just like today, I've been drinking much more water than I was drinking before, and I can feel the difference. So that's a good thing to report. Um, but yeah, this fasting, my takeaway from today's fasting session is the whole mental aspect of the fast. Uh, Going out to pick up the water, you know, it was, I felt really focused driving and, making sure I was paying attention to everything. Uh, Everything feels more like it's becoming more hyper focused. So I was just kind of really aware of everything and everyone and the smells in the air. I got 2 cases of water when I was only planning on getting one, but I said, you know what? It's water, so it's not like it's going to spoil. It's better to have 2 cases and make sure that I am thoroughly hydrated and not, because the only thing is that everything is like I know at this point I could never go to the gym while I'm doing this fast because everything is in slow motion. I think that would be damaging to me because literally carrying the case of Crystal Geyser, it was like 35 bottles in a case. I luckily remembered that I have a little dolly that I got, so I used that to bring the two up from my car to my apartment. But they were heavy. They felt heavy. I mean, I've lifted them many times before, but today they felt heavy. And yeah, that was interesting because I said, okay, well, I know this is fast related because I've lifted those things many times without even thinking about it. But I'm much more aware of kind of everything today, which is good because it's better than feeling like I'm in a fog. Uh, so I just feel like, okay, what's going on? I'm tired. Don't push yourself. So it's been good. I'm uh, taking things slowly and just uh, trying to stay chill. I still have the issue of thinking about food, where that's the other thing is that I'm my ability to visualize has gotten so much sharper. Like when I was laying in bed this morning and I kind of drifted to sleep and back, I totally remembered the dream and I just visually saw everything so three-dimensionally. Like usually for me, I wake up and kind of remember a dream. It's more like a kind of, I know that I dreamt something, but I can't really kind of see it in front of my face. But like this morning, I was like, whoa, I felt like I was in one place and then I woke up and I'm like, okay. I just, you know, my senses, I guess, are a little more uh, sharpened. So it was, but it was cool because it made me just appreciate uh, my dream life and just kind of visualizing stuff. So that, and that was the thing where I'm talking about, like with my chanting, kind of feeling improved. Um, while I was chanting, and like I've made a list of goals that I have that I want to accomplish, uh, which is kind of one of the things you do with your Buddhist practices. The goals that you have in your life that you're wanting to use your practice to prove the power of Nam-myoho Renge Kyo and your Buddhist practice in your life is by your ability through chanting for these things and taking action that you achieve these goals. So I have these goals, and a lot of my goals are connected with the challenges that I have on my channel. I've just made my challenges for here into goals that I've wanted. I'm using the channel to help me take action on the goals that I have set for myself, or some of them. Uh, so it was really cool that today, like I started as I was thinking about my goals and was chanting, you know, for them, I could actually literally like see different things, like, you know, chanting, you know, to be able to save the money and have a great trip to Paris. I literally started seeing myself in Paris, walking down the streets with a map, and it was like, you know, it felt very kind of visceral and real. And I've been thinking about, you know, wanting my channel to be successful and being able to eventually afford to buy my own home. I was able to see, you know, the backyard of the home where I want to be able to, you know, I'm calling it my house for Cousin Rufu because that means uh, when I get this house, I want a house that has a front yard and a backyard where I can, you know, have district meetings and chapter meetings and barbecues and stuff for uh, the Buddhist district that I belong to. So that was kind of fun because for the first time, it went from like, oh, I want to have a house to I was seeing the backyard of the house and what it looked like and the barbecue grill. And that was really cool because I feel like I'm, you know, at least during this time with this fast, the fast and the ketones, being in ketosis, has had me be much more focused and be able to see the goals that I'm wanting. So that has been another cool kind of aspect of today. And I think that's probably why uh, it feels like today just flew by because I was so focused on all these things. You know, I was probably spending a lot more time visualizing those things than I realized. Um, but I didn't feel like it just felt like time was flying by. Uh, so, okay, I don't want to, I'm not going on any tirade. I've been, you know, one last thing I will say is I've noticed throughout most of this fast um, that I've limited my amount of television time. Because usually, as I'm going through my day, I have the TV on, almost like company. But through the course of the fast, um, and kind of the revelations I've been having, like in terms of my relationship with food, I recognize that I use food to kind of supplement, you know, issues that I'm dealing with or feelings I don't want to be feeling. And watching the news really sets that off, and I didn't realize that's why probably I'm doing a lot of munching because watching the news and the whole election stuff is totally, um, it stresses me out because the idea that we are in a 50-50 situation in this country saddens me because I think that means that 50% of this country is okay with this guy who is crazy as a loon and is threatening to tear everything apart. He makes no bones about how much of an asshole he is and how much of a racist he is and how he wants to tear things down for himself. I mean, he literally is like a chaos maker and he's trying to pit people against each other. And he's allowed to get away with it because people are afraid that he will start talking about them or that um, people will start randomly attacking them if they stand up against him. I mean, and what I don't get is how people think of this as being kind of what America is about. It's like so anti-America that I would think Kamala Harris would be just like a no-brainer. That her and Tim Walz will be so much better than those other two guys, which I don't even want to say their names. But they both, I mean, the idea that one is so old that if something happens to him, the guy that replaces him is just as bad, is frightening beyond belief. And I don't want this uh, channel to be about politics, but politics is a part of life. And if my channel is about living your best life, I can't ignore, because this isn't a regular election. This is an election where a guy who's talking about tearing down this country and everything that makes everybody equal, a bunch of racist white men want to come together, because a lot of them, not everybody who follows this guy is racist, but how many of his people who are underneath him or supporting him who are either in jail right now or have gotten off are talking about tearing down this country. And what they're talking about in code is away from getting away from everybody being equal to white people being here and other minorities being here, and we're supposed to be just okay with it, because apparently some white people are having an identity crisis because they're having to live life like everybody else, and their privilege is being checked by other people. And I don't know, I guess it's, he's tapping into that. I have to believe that there are more people, white, black, every color and ethnicity, who cannot buy into his toxic, hateful rhetoric. I have to believe that. Yes, I know they say it's 50-50, but I can't, buy that is how people who call themselves American really feel. So I am hoping election time people will be voting for Kamala Harris, regardless of what their political persuasion is, because it's not just about, oh, well, this guy might do some stuff, or he was crazy when he was in office. That was the first time I ever felt like I constantly had to be watching the news just to find out if something was going to happen in this country, that, we might be bombed by, North Korea or whoever, because he's such, you know what he is. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that people have the common sense to say, regardless of what you agree with in terms of policies, that it's better to have a policy disagreement than say, this guy wants to be president for life. He wants to be a dictator. I mean, it makes no sense that people are like, oh, yeah, or laughing when he's saying about people being idiots or trashing people or calling immigrants scum and vermin and all of these obvious racist statements that are being normalized. I mean, literally, like I said, I am not a big political person, but experiencing this, watching the news, literally stresses me out, thinking, oh my God, this is not how I imagined this country is. And yet the news is showing us if things are 50-50, and 50-50 with a belief that people are going to go in the direction of this guy as opposed to Kamala Harris, it just frightens me so much that it's even a possibility. I just don't understand how it's even a possibility. The guy says things, he trashes Detroit when he's in Detroit. He trashes anybody he thinks of because he thinks it's kind of funny and amusing and entertaining. And the idea that people think that he's a millionaire when he's not, and it's just all this stuff. He's not said anything that he wants to do to help other than to deport people. And he's not just talking about deporting people who are, illegal in the country. He's talking about people who are here legally, but they're not citizens. He's talking about getting rid of people, that he just doesn't like. Because in code, what I'm hearing is that, the country is getting a little too brown and we want to get back to more white people, everywhere. And literally, this is the stuff that comes up for me when I'm watching the news. So I don't want to go off anymore on this. I just know I can't really watch the news right now because it's so. Just thinking about the possibility that this guy might get elected again with his vice presidential running mate, what that will unleash in people. Because what I recognized when he was first elected and all of these racist groups were cheering him on and they were feeling comfortable to march with tiki torches without hoods so you could see their faces because they're like, hey, our guy's in the house. That's scary because they had no problem showing their faces because they felt empowered. And I remember when he was first elected, how much people just started, all these Karens started coming out, just screaming at people, assuming that they're immigrants and not here legally. People feel empowered to scream at each other when I'm used to people being friendly with each other. Yeah, there may be some people who grab their purse when I walk by, but I always say, hey, how are you? And try and be friendly when I meet people. But that's a part of my life that I recognize I just have to deal with. But the idea of dealing with people just randomly coming up and feeling comfortable screaming in my face because they just decide they feel like screaming in my face about something, that's crazy. That's not what this country is about. So I am praying that people, when it comes to election time or while they're voting now, are voting for Kamala Harris and voting up and down the ticket for Democratic candidates, because it's not just about a president, it's about the House and the Senate being able to get things back on track, because things are just getting crazy. But okay, I said I wasn't going to ramble. See, this I will say is the challenge of making videos while I'm doing this fast. I feel it's sometimes, once I get talking, it's hard to stop because the thoughts, it's that focus thing. But that's why I'm limiting how much television viewing I'm doing during this fast, which is a good thing because it's allowed me to focus on other things that are more important. But it's been something bubbling up in me because I am not choosing food to stuff down all these feelings. So these feelings keep bubbling up of, oh my God, election is around the corner, please. So please, I value everybody's right to vote for whomever they want, but please, please, do that at the next election so that we know we'll have a next election by voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because they believe in democracy. I don't want to know what it's like to have to fight to keep a president from abandoning how we live by the rule of law. Because any minority should know that if we didn't have certain laws to protect us, we are subject to the will of, other people in authority, which can be a scary place to live in. And I'm not interested in living in that place. So any person of color, and I can't even believe that they're talking about young black men are having a problem with Kamala Harris for whatever reason. If they are listening to anything that he says, you would know, oh my God, this man is a racist. Why would I support this guy? Because whatever he's saying to me is BS. Because why would a racist be caring about a black person? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to get lost in this. So what I'm going to say is I'm trying to, through my practice and through this fasting, I don't want to go back to being somebody who supplements by eating food. So I'm going to use this channel to express myself, but learn how to express myself fully through the channel without going on too many of these rants. So through the course of this fast, forgive me if I go on some rants because it's harder to keep these thoughts in me because I'm not stuffing it with potato chips or okay. It's bad when you talk so much, you filled up the storage on your phone. So the universe has given me a sign to not go down that road of getting stressed out about politics. I want to be somebody, like I was trying to say, uses my practice to express how I'm feeling about things and not use food to stuff down my feelings of stress in any way. That's what I want to get from this fast and use my practice to do moving forward. So, like I said, forgive me if for the remainder of these videos I tend to go off on some rants. But having that jarring thing of the video running out of space, it helped me to be able to stop. So I am going to just ask, please, 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 as we approach election time, if you haven't voted already, please think very hard about who you're voting for and for what kind of country you want to be living in. This is not an election to sit out on in any way. If you have not been paying attention, please start paying attention because things are at stake that can make everybody's quality of life really take a nosedive because there's one candidate who wants to tear things down and stay in office forever because they want to stay out of jail. And then there's another candidate who actually is thinking about our lives and wants us to live our best lives, which is why I like Kamala Harris because, I like what she stands for. Okay, I'm done with that rant. Day 5, like I said, has been about being really laser focused on things. So tonight I'm going to chill out, either read or see if I can watch a funny movie and just kind of laugh. I want to avoid, watching any political stuff for as much of this fast as possible, because the point is to focus on this fast, but I'm aware that I have triggers that once I get through this fast, I want to make sure I don't go back to. So that's been a good lesson I'm learning from this fast, is just how much I use food to stuff things down. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this one up because this one went long as well. And hey, I'm being my authentic self, so hopefully I'm resonating with other people. I'm not looking to get into arguments with people who like the other guy. You believe, follow your heart. If, I will chant for everybody's happiness, whether we agree on how the future goes, and I am just hoping that things go in the best interest of our country, which is Kamala Harris. So I wish everyone a wonderful evening, a good night. I am signing off on day 5, and I just want to say thank you to anybody who's watching and supporting my channel. I appreciate it a lot. I have a lot of things I want to achieve with this channel and just with my life, and I'm having a lot of fun sharing it through this YouTube channel. It's really helping me get out of my funk, out of my shell, out of this toxic space I've been in for a while. I'm really loving life. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow, day 6. For now, signing off for day 5 and wishing you guys a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Bisous.